and a warm welcome to the program. I'm Melinda Akinlami. On this week's episode, we'll be looking at two solo exhibitions. While one artist is giving us a glimpse of the diaspora, the other shows us what freedom means through his watercolor paintings. That's our lineup on Art House this week, and I'll give you details in a moment.
For an artist to be worth his salt means three things: draw, draw, and draw. It cannot be overemphasized. Every aspect of nature has a human form.
We begin with this exhibition, which features recent works done by this contemporary artist. He calls it Nostalgia, Glimpses from Diaspora.
A rush of emotions fused with bittersweet memories. That's what resonates in Kunle Adegborioye's mind anytime he has to do an exhibition. Although this contemporary artist lives outside the shores, his passion for Nigeria is obvious, and that's why he uses every opportunity to comment on issues that can make the country better.
I try to look or to think about the sovereigns of the Nigerian society itself, and most importantly, especially the kids, the children within the society. And then after doing a lot of research and seeing the sovereigns and everything, so I thought it would be a good thing to at least to voice out in my own little way through my artistic drawings or paintings, and that's why we are here today.
The stories which take a life of their own on canvas took him far and wide to learn more about what's happening in a country he believes has a lot of unsung heroes, as the historical events have been swept under the carpet.
When you look at the Nigerian society, you see that we have gone through one major war in the history of Nigeria, and that is the Biafra War. And looking at it from my own background, that is somebody that has been trained in United Kingdom and that lives in United Kingdom, I believe that there are so many wars that's taking place, and these wars are celebrated or remembered. So we have all this Remembrance Day, the Battle of Trafalgar, so many wars but after doing a lot of research, I discovered that the Biafra War has not been celebrated in Nigeria. And from my own research, I know that at least 2 million people died. So it would be good for either this government or government coming or somebody within the system, because it's part of the history of Nigeria. You can't take that out of Nigeria. It needs to be recognized, it needs to be celebrated, and the heroes needs to be remembered on both parts.
And the need to invest in the future by taking care of the little ones and the less privileged in the society are reflected in his works, which have bold inscriptions on them like Tears and Prayers, Child Soldiers Missing, Big Davids, Small Goliaths.
When you look at the painting, you see a child, about 8-9-year-old child fishing. Again, comparing the United Kingdom with Nigeria, it's not likely you see an 8-year-old or 9-year-old child fishing. So I went to Okobaba and some of these riverine areas, and I see these kids fishing, and they're quite good at it, but I would have thought they should be in school at that time. So I felt kind of emotionally attached to such areas. The privilege I have, the privilege my children have, these kids don't have it. And it's a shame that we have a government that is not really looking into those areas. Those kids should be looking after, not fishing. But at the end of the day, when you look at Nigeria, is a blessed country. So even to get a fish as big as that in a sea at that area is a blessing. So it's a 50-50 thing.
It's not all gloom. The works of art show that more noise has to be made about the good things in the nation, like the cultural activities loaded with pomp and pageantry, and the potential of tourism that needs to be explored.
Nigeria is a vibrant country. So when you look at the cultural aspect, you see that a lot of activities, a lot of actions, a lot of heritage that goes on into it. So that's why I've used different masks, different textures, different letterings to actually say what I'm talking about.
His style is very interesting because it's a mixture of both painting and printmaking, you know, and a little bit of etching. So it's a very interesting style which is able to blend. And with his style, he talks about some of his memories, you know, of Nigeria, you know, while living up and growing in Nigeria. And it's very interesting because he brings back that nostalgic feeling because it's bringing back a lot of memories when Nigeria was good, and most of these things we're still going through, you know, corrupt practices by Nigerians, the Nigerian politicians. He also talks about the sufferings, but even though these are very difficult themes, he's been able to put them beautifully and narrate them beautifully on canvas, and for me that is a good way, you know, for art to play its role in society, which is all about shaping society positively. So these are some of the things that you see in his art. It's a very successful exhibition, and we're very proud to have him here today.
In interpreting all these, he blends his two worlds together to create a textural content.
There are two different and interesting aspects of the painting that I've used. Now, originally I'm a painter, trained at Yabatech. And then I went further to do printmaking at Camberwell College of Art in London, University of Art. So now I thought about it, an artist, a painter, and a printmaker. How can I now create a unique identity by forming these two together? And I've been able to come to a point where I can combine the two successfully. And that is why I have this unique style today.
I can see a fusion of certain elements that resonate in his works. The uniqueness actually draws from the combination of painting and printmaking, and that fusion in itself is something quite interesting because I can see the way he played with screen printing and particularly serigraphy, and how he was able to combine that with his brush strokes. And when you look at the forms, you see some essence of photography as well.
All this has left an impression on one of the distinguished personalities here, and that's the former Commonwealth Secretary General, Emeka Anyaoku.
These pictures reminds one of the rich cultural traditions that we have in this country, and I think they're marvelous. I've just met the artist for the first time, and I must say that he has captured very well the different aspects of our cultural traditions. And so the title of the exhibition, Nostalgia, is very apt.
His contemporaries are no strangers to what Kunle has done today, but he keeps bringing a fresh angle to it anytime he exhibits.
He's been very consistent, and he's primarily working in the area of social situation and the Nigerian environment, the family issues of mother, children, and displacement. So he's been a kind of social commentator and not an activist. In personality, he's a very calm, soft-spoken gentleman. And he was a classmate of Romesiche, Kainebi, Ilemobade, so they were a special breed, really, that have been able to contribute a lot to the visual landscape of the Nigerian art, especially in painting. And I think it was a very unique set, and I think that is one great thing that we have here today.
These are images that plague his mind as someone who crisscrossed from the United Kingdom to Nigeria, and that's what he's bared on his large canvas at the Omenka Gallery.
And I hope you enjoyed the memories Kunle shared on canvas.